A few months ago, I was having problems learning the new system for retopology, auto retopology, and per pixel painting, and all the controls that have been developed. And when I had originally learned it, for example, retopology or retopo was called autopo was called uh, quadrangulation. Well, it's not called quadrangulation anymore, and I feel a lot of the tutorials are out of date. So I went around and I was looking at the manual. I just couldn't find anything that would really help me get up to speed on per pixel painting and setting up my voxel model for per pixel painting. So I went to Digman, who very generously helped me, and I hope I don't steal a project from him here. But he guided me through it, and then I had my own other concerns take me away, and I kind of forgot what he taught me, and I regretted not recording, our conversation at the time, because it was full of very informative, very intelligent advice. And so I didn't want to bother him again to teach me it again, so I spent the last couple of days struggling to figure it all out, and I think I've got it right. I hope I've got it right. And if I don't, well, the 3D Coat Brain Trust can come down on me and tell me what I've done wrong, and I'll correct it. So here I've got my voxel model in the voxel room, and it's a human femur. It's the right one. We're actually looking for it from behind, and you can see there's the hinge on all that. And I'm going to want to turn this into a mesh, and I'm going to want to flash the textures onto the mesh, and it's going to have to be, since per pixel painting doesn't accept displacement maps, I'm going to have to do it with a normal map. So first of all, we're going to look here at this right femur voxel sculpt, and we're going to right click on that, and there's Autopo. So we're going to, and then the second menu pops up, and we can choose between Autopo for per pixel, Autopo with micro vertex paint, Autopo with p-tex, and just basic Autopo. And it says here, it's got really good pop-ups for advice, I find, and those really were quite helpful. And run Autopo and switch it to Retopo Room. Enable symmetry planes. Okay, we don't need that, so we're just gonna do the Autopo, and that says here approximate poly count 3,000. 3,000 should do. I was doing 4,000 earlier, but 3,000 should do. So that's that. Autopo wizard, paint with this tool to mark the areas of higher polygon density. So we'll do that right now, and as you can see there, we're painting on like edges, ridges, places where there's gonna be a lot of extra detail that we want, and so on. And then we'll go next, and then it says the Autopo routine tries to produce proper edge flow, so we'll draw on edge flow indicators. This is, you probably know all about this, since 3D Coat is so popular for its unparalleled retopology tools. And then we'll go next. Okay, so we've got our mesh, and there is no UV map made of it yet. It's just a basic retopology mesh, and it's quite nice. It's looks really good and even. As you see here on the UV preview, there's a little bit of red there at the top. When I hold the mouse over my Retopo mesh, and that's basically, it's all, because it's like one unified piece, it's all scrunched up at the top of the UV preview screen, so it's still in an unusable state. So what we'll do here is we're going to basically, we're going to have to, it's not in the paint room, we're going to have to trim it there. So I'm going to use UV tools, and I think I like edge loops on this, and edge loops tend to make pretty fast work of this. And so on. We'll just clip through this quickly. And so anyway, what I'm going to show you here is, this is it retopologized, and I've got it all clipped out, and but we still don't have the UV map marked out yet. So what we're going to have to do is go to the retopo and unwrap. So hit unwrap, and that's going to fit all clusters onto the texture. So there we have it. We've made a nice UV map of this, and it works well. And it's good to go over each island by holding your mouse over the individual patches you've made, just to see if there's any overhangs. Sometimes, like on the UV map there, you can, when you go like this, you can see where there's any problems, any holes, or what's more likely is overlaps, I find, and you can go in there and correct those. I've already corrected this one, so that's fine. So now we've got a UV mapped Autopo mesh, and I want to bake all our ambient occlusion and our normal map in preparation for painting with PerPixelPainting. So we go to retopo here, and we go to merge with normal map PerPixel. Merge object for PerPixelPainting and bake normal map on special layer. Displacement will not be baked. So, and I'll just leave everything stock here, and no subdivision. I want see initial subdivision, no subdivision. UV mapping type, keep UV. UV set smoothing, no smoothing. Don't snap subdivision vertices to the surface. This gives the name of it. And the texture width, I'll go, because I want to go pretty detailed, 4096. This is actually more from my own memory than it is for anybody else's help. I'm sure about 98% of the people that go to 3D Code already know this procedure, but for those of you who don't, I'll share it with you. For myself, it's such a click fest, and there's so many other workflows that have to be memorized that it's good to put this on video for my own future reference, if nothing else. Okay, we're done, and so now we have the fully UV mapped, and we'll go over here to the paint room, and so here we have one of the handiest things to use is this texture editor. Everybody, really gets into this. And so there we have our baked textures. There's a color map. There's the normal map, and you can see, the extra details of the sculpture that I've made of the femur. All the details have been already baked into that. So that's really what I wanted there. And then there's just specular. There's no specular highlights yet. If we did paint specular highlights, here, we'll turn that off. And you can see there, you can see the specular highlights already going on there. So that's going to record, display in 2D the specular highlights. And there's a shaded model. And if I change the lighting around here, you can see the shaded model changes with it. That's pretty cool. We'll turn off here. You can see right femur voxel. There is two ways we can turn that on. There's this here. Turn that off. And there's also up here in view, show voxels in paint room. We'll turn that off because we don't want there. And that got rid of the voxels. I'll also turn it off here. So that gets rid of that. And I want to make sure that we don't start painting with this on, because it's not going to paint. You are attempting to paint over an invisible layer. Please enable visibility. Well, if I didn't have it invisible and I was painting on it, that would be a problem too, because you can find yourself painting on. Sometimes what I do is I'll actually, after I've saved everything, I'll actually start with this, and I'll actually do a deletion on this. I'll highlight that femur voxel, hit the garbage can, and delete it, Same thing, I'll go back in the voxel room and I'll delete the voxels out of the voxel room. So I have my UV map, I have my Autopo room and tweak, and now I've got this paint. So I'm ready to paint. And what I end up with is, you know, I've made my own texture maps, and it's all fun. I really enjoy it, and I think that 3D Coat is the best out there, really. I mean, you know, Mari is really good, but it's not as intuitive. It's not as sensuous or voluptuous to handle. I think of all the, when you look at C4D's got, and Maxon C4D, and you look at ZBrush, even, I really, really like 3D Coat's interface. I just like the whole feel of it. I like the way textures get painted on in real time. It's a lot of fun. So, you know, if this tutorial has helped you a little bit and getting started in this, you know, I hope it has. If you're a new guy, and you know, you can get some of the pleasure I've gotten out of it, because there's a lot of pleasure to be had from this program. Thank you.